Part 1. The anatomy of the loop. Why you enter and stay. Focus, origins, subconscious programming, and the chemical hook. I. The core mechanism. Repetition compulsion. The fundamental reason you find yourself in narcissistic dynamics, whether with mothers, teachers, or friends, is rarely a lack of intelligence. It is a subconscious drive known as repetition compulsion. 1. The attempt to fix the original trauma. The brain is designed to solve problems. If your earliest blueprint of love, parental, was narcissistic, conditional, or chaotic, your subconscious mind seeks out similar dynamics in adulthood, not to suffer, but to finally win. You subconsciously hire actors, partners, friends who feel familiar to the original caregiver, hoping that this time, if you explain yourself well enough or love hard enough, you can make them behave differently. You are trying to rewrite history with a new cast. 2. Familiarity is mistaken for safety. To the human nervous system, safe does not mean good, it means familiar. If you grew up walking on eggshells, a calm, stable, and boring relationship feels unsafe or alien to your amygdala. You naturally gravitate toward the chaos of a narcissist because your nervous system recognizes the terrain. You know how to survive there. 3. The broken compass theory. When you encounter a healthy, secure person, they may feel no spark or boring. This is because your internal compass is calibrated to high intensity or high anxiety bonding. The spark you feel with a narcissist is often your intuition screaming, danger. But you interpret the anxiety as excitement or chemistry. 4. Externalization of internal dialogue. You attract people who treat you the way you treat yourself. If your internal dialogue is critical, demanding, and dismissive of your own needs, often internalized from a critical parent, you will tolerate a friend or partner who voices those same criticisms externally. The narcissist validates your own secret, negative self-belief. 5. The role of the useful victim. Narcissists do not target weak people. They target highly useful, empathetic, and resilient people. If you are in these relationships, you likely possess high instrumental value. You are a problem solver, a listener, and a caretaker. You have been trained to derive your worth from what you do for others rather than who you are. 2. The biochemical addiction. Why it's hard to leave. Understanding the biology is crucial to removing the shame. You are not stupid for staying, you are chemically bonded. 6. Intermittent reinforcement. The slot machine effect. This is the single strongest behavioral conditioner known to psychology. Narcissists rarely abuse 100% of the time. They provide a breadcrumbing of affection, random moments of intense praise, love, or validation amidst the abuse. Because the reward is unpredictable, your brain releases massive amounts of dopamine when you finally get it. You become addicted to the cycle of earning the crumb. 7. The cortisol-oxytocin bond, trauma bonding. During the abuse or discard phase, your cortisol, stress hormone, spikes, sending you into fight or flight. When the narcissist returns or offers a small kindness, hoovering. Your brain releases oxytocin, bonding hormone, and dopamine, relief. The person who caused the pain becomes the only source of the relief from that pain. This creates a biological bond that is harder to break than a heroin addiction. 8. Cognitive dissonance as a survival strategy. To survive the relationship, your brain fragments reality. You hold two opposing beliefs: they are hurting me and they love me. To reduce the mental stress, you subconsciously minimize the abuse, they didn't mean it, and maximize the good moments. You fall in love with the potential of the person, not the reality. 9. The freeze response, functional freeze. You may wonder why you don't fight back. Many victims of narcissistic abuse function in a high-functioning freeze state. You go through the motions of life, but you are emotionally numbed out to protect yourself. This passivity makes it difficult to set boundaries, making you an easier target for further exploitation. 10. Betrayal blindness. When the narcissist is a necessary figure, like a mother or a teacher you depend on for grades or career, your brain literally blocks out the abuse to preserve the relationship. Admitting the abuse would mean acknowledging that your safety net is dangerous, which is too terrifying for the psyche to process, so you forget or minimize the incidents. 3. The target profile, traits they exploit. You must identify which of your high-value traits are being weaponized against you. 11. Hyper-empathy. You likely have a high capacity to feel others' emotions. A narcissist senses this and uses it. When they play the victim, a common tactic, you feel their pain viscerally and rush to soothe them, ignoring the fact that they created the mess. 12. Over-responsibility. You were likely parentified as a child or taught that you are responsible for other people's emotional states. If the narcissist is angry, you automatically scan yourself. What did I do wrong? How can I fix this? You assume the burden of the emotional climate. 13. High tolerance for discomfort. You have an incredibly high pain threshold for emotional abuse. You can endure silence, criticism, and confusion far longer than a healthy person would. This stamina is actually a liability here. It keeps you in the game long after you should have folded. 14. The explainer trait. You believe that if you just explain your point of view clearly enough, the narcissist will understand and change. You write long texts, have long conversations, and defend your reality. The narcissist uses this against you to drain your energy. They understand you perfectly. They just don't care. 15. Need for external validation. If your self-worth is contingent on being the good student, the good daughter, or the loyal friend, the narcissist holds the keys to your self-esteem. They can withhold validation to control you. IV. The setup, how they get in, the idealization phase. Narcissists do not enter your life as abusers, they enter as saviors, soulmates, or mentors. 16. Love bombing or intellectual bombing. In romantic relationships, this is excessive flattery. In teacher or mentor relationships, it looks like intellectual bombing. You are the brightest student I've seen in years, or only you really understand my vision. They place you on a pedestal. This is not love. It is grooming. 17. Mirroring. They study you. They adopt your interests, your dislikes, and your values. You feel like you've met your twin. I've never met anyone who thinks like me is a common thought before the trap snaps shut. 18. Future faking. They sell you a vision of the future that requires your compliance today. When we start this business, when you graduate, when we get married, you endure mistreatment in the present as an investment in a future that never arrives. 19. The vulnerability Trojan horse. Early in the relationship, they share a deep secret or a sob story about a crazy ex, a terrible childhood, or a misunderstood genius. This is designed to trigger your maternal or paternal instinct and make you feel special for being the only one they trust. It fast-forwards intimacy without earning it. 20. Testing the waters. Boundary erosion. They will test a small boundary early on. They might be late, make a backhanded compliment, or ask a slightly inappropriate question. If you brush it off or forgive them too quickly, they mark you as a viable target. The dynamic, the cycle of devaluation. Once you are hooked, the mask slips. 21. Gaslighting, reality erosion. This is not just lying, it is an assault on your sanity. I never said that. You're too sensitive. You're imagining things. Over time, you stop trusting your memory and start relying on their version of reality. 22. Triangulation. They bring a third person into the dynamic to create jealousy and insecurity. Mother, your cousin calls me every day, why can't you? Teacher, Sarah really grasped this concept, you seem to be struggling. Friend, I told other friend about this and they agreed with me. This forces you to compete for their approval. 23. The shift to supply. You stop being a person to them and become a source of narcissistic supply. Supply is attention positive, admiration, or negative, anger, tears. If they can't get you to praise them, they will provoke you to anger. Your reaction proves they exist and have power. 24. Moving the goalposts. The standards for their approval constantly change. What pleased them yesterday is annoying today. This ensures you are constantly working, monitoring, and adjusting, keeping your focus entirely on them. 25. Projection. They accuse you of the very things they are doing. If they are cheating, they accuse you of being unfaithful. If they are selfish, they call you a narcissist. This is a confession, not an accusation. V5. The internal damage, why you feel crazy. 26. CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Repeated exposure to this dynamic often results in CPTSD. Symptoms include emotional flashbacks, feeling suddenly small or terrified, toxic shame, and a harsh inner critic. You are not bipolar or unstable. You are having a normal reaction to abnormal stress. 27. The loss of self. To survive, you have likely suppressed your true needs, opinions, and feelings to avoid conflict. You become a chameleon. When the relationship ends or you try to leave, you may feel an intense void because you don't know who you are without the role of stabilizer. 28. Hypervigilance. You become an expert at reading micro-expressions. You can tell by the sound of a door opening or the heavy sigh of a teacher what kind of mood they are in. This constant scanning exhausts your adrenals. 29. Learned helplessness. After repeated failed attempts to set boundaries or explain yourself, you internalize the belief that you are powerless to change your situation. You stop trying to escape, even when the cage door is open. 30. The myth of the special connection. You convince yourself that the relationship is complex or deep to justify the pain. You might believe you share a soul tie. Often, this complexity is just the confusion of abuse. Healthy love is simple, trauma bonds are complex. End of Part 1. Part 2 will cover points 3160, focusing entirely on solutions, the how-to of breaking the cycle, setting unbreakable boundaries, and the specific gray rock techniques to handle mothers, teachers, and friends. Would you like me to proceed with Part 2? This is Part 2 of 2. It covers points 3160, focusing entirely on strategic intervention and resolution, the specific how-to of handling these dynamics, the traps to avoid, and the internal restructuring required to stop the cycle permanently. Part 2. The exit strategy, handling, solving, and immunizing. Focus, tactical responses, specific contexts, mother or teacher or friend, and reclaiming sovereignty. 7. The tactical response, behavioral antivirus. You cannot change a narcissist, but you can change the way you interface with them. These are high-level behavioral modifications to render their manipulation ineffective. 31. The gray rock method, becoming uninteresting. The narcissist feeds on emotional reaction, supply. If you cannot go, no contact example. A teacher or co-parent. You must become gray rock. The tactic, be as boring, unreactive, and bland as a gray rock. Give one-word answers. Okay, I see, maybe. Show no emotion, no anger, no tears, no joy. The mechanism, when you stop providing fuel. Reaction. They will eventually get bored and look for a new target. Warning, they will ramp up the abuse initially, an extinction burst, to try to get a reaction. You must hold the line. 32. The medium chill, polite dissociation. This is a step above gray rock, useful for professional or distant family settings. You are polite, pleasant, but completely impenetrable. The tactic, engage in shallow, safe topics, weather, traffic, neutral news. If they pry into your personal life, deflect vaguely, oh, work is just work, you know how it is. How is your garden? The goal? You keep the social contract intact so they can't claim you're rude, while starving them of the intimacy they used to hurt you. 33. JADE, the ultimate trap. You must stop JADEing immediately. Justify, argue, defend, explain. Why? To avoid. When you jade, you signal that you believe they have the authority to judge you. You are handing them the gavel. A narcissist does not care about your reasons, they only care that they have you on the defensive. Stop explaining your number. State it once, then disengage. 34. The BIF response, for digital communication. For texts and emails, especially with high-conflict teachers or ex-partners. Use the BIF method to strip out emotion. Brief, keep it short. Informative, stick to facts only. Friendly, a polite tone. Example, thanks, best regards, prevents them from accusing you of hostility. Firm, close the loop. Do not leave it open for negotiation. 35. Emotional granularity, naming the game. Narcissists rely on you being overwhelmed by a fog of emotion. Counter this by coldly labeling the tactic in your head as it happens. Internal monologue, they are gaslighting me now. This is a pity ploy. This is a provocation. The effect. This shifts you from the emotional center of your brain, amygdala, to the analytical center, prefrontal cortex, reducing your reactivity. 36. The broken record technique. When they try to argue or wear you down, repeat your boundary using the exact same words, tone, and volume. Them. But why can't you come? You. I have a prior commitment. Them. You always do this. You're so selfish. You. I understand you're upset, but I have a prior commitment. Them. Whatever. Why it works. It denies them the argument they are seeking. There is no new information to latch onto. 37. Radical acceptance. The snake analogy. If you pick up a snake and it bites you, you don't ask, why did the snake do that? Did I hold it wrong? You accept that it is a snake. Application. Stop expecting empathy from someone incapable of it. Radical acceptance means accepting what they are without trying to change them. This kills the hope that keeps you trapped. 38. Observation mode. The anthropologist. Imagine you are a scientist observing a rare species. When they rage or manipulate, mentally take notes. Interesting. The subject is escalating volume to intimidate. Now they are switching to victimhood. This creates psychological distance, dissociation, that protects your core self. 39. The information diet. Information is ammunition. Every detail you share about your fears, dreams, or failures will be weaponized later. The tactic: share nothing of substance. Do not tell them about the promotion until it's signed. Do not tell them about the breakup until you are healed. Keep your inner world a fortress. 40. The technique, non-defensive curiosity. When they criticize or bait you, simply say or. That's an interesting perspective, and go back to what you were doing. Why it works. It acknowledges you heard them, so they can't say you're ignoring them, but offers zero emotional traction. It is the verbal equivalent of a shrug. 8. Handling specific archetypes: mothers, teachers, friends. Different roles require different nuances of the antivirus. A. The narcissistic mother, the primary wound. This is often the hardest, because it involves primal attachment. 41. Grief of the unmother. You must mourn the mother you never had and never will have. The hope that one day she will see me is what keeps the wound open. Acknowledge she is emotionally disabled. Treat her like an aunt or a distant relative in your mind, someone you have affection for, but no deep expectation of support from. 42. Rituals over intimacy. Structure your contact. Call at the same time every week for 15 minutes. Have a hard stop: I have a meeting. Visit only in public spaces or with other people present. Buffers. Do not rely on natural flow, rely on rigid structure. 43. The subject pivot. Mothers know your triggers best. When she criticizes your weight or partner or career, do not defend. Pivot immediately to her: I hear you. By the way, how is your knee pain? Narcissists love talking about themselves. Use this distraction to escape the line of fire. B. The narcissistic teacher or mentor, the authority trap. This is tricky because they hold power over your future. Grades. Recommendations. 44. Documentation, the paper shield. Never rely on verbal agreements. If they give vague feedback or change deadlines, send a follow-up email. Just to clarify our conversation today. This creates a paper trail that protects you from gaslighting and provides evidence if you need to escalate. 45. Flattery as camouflage. This is controversial but effective for survival. If you need a grade, stroke their ego slightly. Your lecture on X really changed my perspective. Give them the supply they crave in a controlled dose to keep the target off your back. Do not mistake this for friendship. It is a transaction. 46. The student persona. Create a professional avatar. When you enter their class or office, you are the student. Do not share personal struggles or ask for emotional support. Be efficient, polite, and impenetrable. C. The narcissistic friend, the energy vampire. These are the most insidious because they are voluntary. 47. The slow fade versus the big bang. Confronting a narcissistic friend often leads to a smear campaign. Instead, use the slow fade. Be busy. Take longer to reply. Be boring when you do hang out. Let the friendship wither naturally so they think they lost interest in you. 48. The reciprocity audit. Look at your last 10 interactions. How many were about them? How many were about you? If the ratio is 90 or 10, stop initiating. Do not call. Do not text. See how long it takes them to reach out and what they reach out for, usually a favor. 49. Refusing the emergency. Narcissistic friends live in constant manufactured crisis. When they call in a panic, do not rush over. Say, "That sounds stressful. I can't talk right now, but I hope you figure it out." You are training them that you are not their emotional paramedic. 50. No is a complete sentence. You do not need an excuse to decline an invitation. Weak, "I can't come because I have to wash my hair and my mom is visiting." They will solve these problems for you. Strong, "I can't make it. Thanks for asking." IX. Recovery and prevention, rewiring the blueprint. To stop always getting in, you must patch the holes in your own psyche. 51. Validate your own reality, the anchor. Gaslighting works because you doubt yourself. Start a reality journal. Write down what happened, what was said, and how it made you feel immediately after an interaction. When they try to rewrite history later, read your journal. Trust your past self over their present lies. 52. The pause protocol. Narcissists create urgency to bypass your critical thinking. Never agree to anything immediately. The rule: I need to check my calendar or think about it. I'll get back to you. If they pressure you for an answer now, the answer is always. Number 53. Identify the hook, the shadow work. Ask yourself honestly, what do I get out of this? Do I feel needed? Do I feel saintly for tolerating their abuse? Do I feel superior because I am the sane one? Am I addicted to the adrenaline? You must identify the payoff to release the pattern. 54. Anger as fuel, the sacred rage. You have likely repressed your anger. Anger is not bad, it is a boundary defense. It tells you your dignity is being violated. Instead of swallowing the anger, use it as fuel to detach. Let the anger make you firm, not aggressive. 55. Reparenting, the inner child. The narcissist treats you the way you treat yourself. If you are harsh and critical of yourself, their abuse feels correct. Start treating yourself with the gentleness you crave from them. Self-compassion is the strongest repellent to abuse. 56. Boring is good, recalibrating chemistry. You must detox from the high drama cycle. Learn to appreciate boring people. Safe love feels calm, steady, and sometimes a little dull initially. It does not feel like a roller coaster. If you feel butterflies, anxiety, and intense sparks on a first meeting, run. 57. Silence is an answer. You do not need to have the last word. In fact, with a narcissist, having the last word is a trap. The most powerful move is silence. It signals that they no longer have access to your mind. 58. Closure is an inside job. Do not wait for an apology or an acknowledgement of harm. It will never come. Closure happens when you decide you have had enough. You grant it to yourself by walking away. 59. Trust your somatic markers, the body knows. Your body detects a predator before your mind does. Do you feel drained after seeing them? Does your stomach clench when their name pops up on your phone? Do you feel the need to brace yourself? Treat these physical symptoms as fact. Your body is not lying. 60. The final vow. Never abandon yourself. The core trauma is that you abandon yourself to please them. The solution is a vow. I will never set myself on fire to keep someone else warm again. Every time you set a boundary, you are keeping this vow. Summary of action, your next steps. 1. Immediate triage. Identify the top 2 narcissists in your life right now. 2. Apply Grey Rock. For the next 7 days, commit to being boring. Do not jade. Document the results in a journal. 3. Audit the origin. Reflect on who this person reminds you of from your childhood. Connecting the current actor to the original script will help break the spell. This concludes the comprehensive notes.